Welcome to Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society of British Columbia. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Mountain Tough Fitness Lab. Come along with us as we take conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. We have partnered with Mountain Tough Fitness Lab to help get you in shape and mentally stronger. Whether you're a veteran hunter or just starting out, the Mountain Tough app will take you to the next level. We personally train using the Mountain Tough programs, and we believe in it so much that we want to give you 6 weeks for free using code SHEEPBC. That's SHEEPBC. Check out Mountain Tough Fitness Lab. You won't be disappointed. Gregory, we're rolling into Christmas here. You're looking a little Santa Claus-ish without the whiteness, but the beard's looking good. You're repping well for Christmas.
It's coming in. There's some white in there somewhere as I slowly wither away into my senior years.
Awesome. So yeah, it's a festive season. We're dropping this on the 27th, so 2 days after Christmas. You got all your shopping done? You ready to roll for the festivities or what?
The final push today of Christmas shopping. Nice. Headed on down. Actually, this will air after Christmas, so it's okay. We're down at Coralane's for the boys.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's good. Yeah.
Finished off everything today. It was good. How about you? Getting it all done?
Yeah, we're in good shape. Yeah, it's we're taking off for the holidays, so it's more of a trip gift as opposed to a gift. So it's been pretty easy this year. So yeah, which I'll take.
Yeah, yeah, easy's nice to avoid the chaos that is Christmas.
So does Connor listen to the podcast?
Yep.
He does, eh? Oh, right on. Yeah, that's cool.
So I had to stop and think about it before I opened my mouth.
Well, and I think sometimes you maybe talk a little bit of trash on his hunting skills too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He got a big win. He got a big win from the eye doctor. So I got to take a lot of things back I said about him.
Is that right?
Turns out he can't see.
He needs some corrective lenses.
He can't see. Well, he had glasses, but turns out he's colorblind to pale colors. So if there's a deer in grass, he can't see it unless it's moving.
Huh.
It's like,
well, there you go.
Explains everything.
Greg's like, oh, geez.
Yeah. No, I definitely owe him some apologies.
Yeah, right on.
Make up for it and change tactics.
That's awesome that he's figured it out and he knows the issue. And he's probably, now you're in trouble. I've actually had some passes because he could actually kill some stuff, but now he's going to be killing everything on you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll have to, figure it out, but we got some tactics to change and we'll capitalize next year. And we'll practice in bear season as well. But he's pretty good at seeing bears.
Right on. So if we got any listeners out there that have any issues like color blindness or stuff like that, and I do have friends that have been afflicted by that, reach out to us. It'd be pretty cool to actually do a podcast on it. I'm not going to put Connor on the spot yet, but I'd love to talk to some people about that. I'm sure there's a lot more people out there that are affected by it than we realize, right? So
yeah, well, and it's it's been hamstringed his hunting, and we had no idea until this year, and he's 13, so it's He's had a lot of missed opportunities where we've stared at each other. It's like, how did you not see that deer? But now it all makes sense.
Yeah, fair. I wish I had something to blame it on. Oh, goodness. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy with Mike. He's just, he's so good at spotting game. And it's like, there's one there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just not there. So I'm Mike's Connor. Yeah. But I don't have anything to blame it on. So,
no.
Yeah, right on. So cool podcast. We had Fred Pringle on the podcast. Big Game Records of British Columbia, and obviously a great organization that I'm pretty sure you're a life member with those guys.
I am, yep.
Yeah, not an elevated. What's their elevated membership? Platinum membership?
I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they had.
But
one.
Anyway, I was going down there to do the podcast, and I've always loved what they do And anyone that's listened to one of our earlier ones, Justin Spring was on from Boone and Crockett, and he talks about the importance of wildlife records. Fred touches on it, but Fred's got so many cool stories about hunting in BC that we just talked about hunting in BC mostly, but we did touch about, big game records and what's going on over there and some of the stuff that's happening. But just a great organization. I signed up as a life member, and they give you a really cool record book. It's super sweet. And we give out life member plaques, which are awesome and love it. But the book was amazing to get that as well. So great talk with Fred. They're coming to our Salute to Conservation and Mountain Hunting Expo, and they're going to be there scoring sheep and actually any big game records that you want. So if you want to get scored, bring them in. They'll score it up for you. They'll have their official scores there in Penticton on February 23rd and 24th at our Mountain Hunting Expo. So if you're a listener or in the area, come down. It's going to be a great event, and you can visit with them. I'm not sure Fred will be there, but certainly they're going to have representation from their directors, and just a great organization. Some of our directors, I know Josh Hamilton, he's got his certification. Wayland Vipond, he's certified as a Boone and Crockett scorer, and like Fred talks about it on the podcast. He kind of does all of them, he does SCI and everything. So just a great organization, and if anyone's not a member, just have a good look at what these guys do. It'd be awesome to see you sign up, and anything we can do to support other conservation organizations in our space that think like us is a great thing. So
yeah, and they're when they're at a show with us or anybody, their booth is always a cool spot to hang out. There's always random people bringing in random animals, and it's story time. You can hang out at their booth the whole show, never walk away.
Yeah,
and hopefully people are bringing in lots of stuff to get scored. I know I'll bring in a couple animals I got floating around, so see where we're at.
Yeah, super cool. I think you got a black bear that they got to take care of, right?
Yeah, there was an issue there. Something got lost in the mail, but just need to get it rescored, and then it'll be up there. They'll be up there in the good top pages.
Is it in? Do you figure that bear is a BC book?
Oh, it is. I had it scored before, and then it literally got lost in the mail.
Okay.
And then I was up here so it wasn't going to be. I was away when it needed to be scored again, so they can send off the paperwork. But it's it's close to 21.
Wow. Yeah. Very cool. That's awesome. And you're in the right part of the world for easy access to big bears up in that Mackenzie area, right? I hunted that Williston Lake area for grizzlies, and man, there's just bears everywhere. Big frickin' black bears just everywhere, and grizzlies too, but black bears everywhere, man.
Oh, it's unreal. If you're black bear hunting and you go to Williston Lake, anywhere on it, on it, you'll see.
We take Connor out. Yeah, take Connor out. He's guaranteed to get a bear. Like, it's guaranteed. Like, you can't. Yeah, they're logging road. They're just walking down the logging road, so he'll be able to see that for sure.
Yeah, no, he's shot 2 there already. He's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh. Sorry, Connor. Jeez.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. We don't need to publicize them too much, even though we lean on it all the time.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I guess there's a couple things for our listeners. For those in BC, we still got our wild sheep raffles are up and going. Our Lynam rifle, so it's the big bore rifle, it's like 85%. This was, a week earlier, recorded a week from today when we released it. And so if you're going to get some tickets, you better get them if they're not already gone. And it's a 280 Ackley. It's got a WSSBC 2023 serial number. So it's a custom Defiance action on there, and they've got that WSSBC 2023 serial number. So that's such a cool firearm. You won't forget your serial number on that one, that's for sure. And it's just dialed in. Gary Flack build, again, generosity of Don Lynam and Gary Flack, and just awesome rifle. So few tickets left on that one. I wish I could buy tickets. That's the one I'd be spending my money on, but unfortunately is running the raffles. We can't do that for the integrity of the program, and that makes sense. And then, just everyone, just remember that we got our Salute to Conservation. We've heard from a few people that they didn't realize that, this is replacing Kamloops. It is replacing Kamloops. And the other thing I've heard is that, the hotel's sold out. It's not sold out. There is a discount code if you put in a WSSBC discount code. It's on our website. And but you have to put in for the dates. So if you put it a few days in before, a few days after, it says that it's sold out at that rate. But if you get the exact dates, or if you call in, you can book the dates. So lots of tickets left for the hotel. We do expect these events to sell out, so I wouldn't mess around too long. Christmas is going to roll by here, and everybody's going to get pretty furious about their tickets. And talk about a lineup, man. Like, where do you get to go and hang out with Aaron Snyder? Like, he's going to be there. He's going to be doing a seminar each day. He's going to be at the booth. And the guy's a legend, but he's just one of many. The list is long and distinguished, and it's going to be such a great event. We got so many cool things planned this year, Greg.
Yeah, it's jam-packed, and we had to extend it a day this time. So it's kicking off with the disease symposium, which is kind of neat, which we've got people coming in from literally around the world for. So there's lots to learn there. And then we got the whiskey and cigar night on Thursday. That's a new one for us. That'll be, I don't know, I'm looking forward to that for some weird reason. But I think I'm buying a lot of people whiskey because of some guy on the other side of the screen.
Anyone that anyone that comes in from out of province, Greg's buying. Yeah. So just saying.
You find me. I might not be there, but come find me. No, I might have to leave early. We'll see. But yeah, no, it's a jam-packed event. Like, there's so much going on, we can't even talk about all of it. But if you pay attention to our social medias and our e-blasts, like, we've released the schedule. It's out there. You see the speakers. You see what's going on. Find out about the Sheep Hunters University. Like, there's nowhere else in BC where you can make something like this happen. I don't even know if there's anything like this in Canada.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. There are lots of great trade shows. BC Outdoor Show is a great show, and a whole bunch of other ones. The Interior Show is great, but it's really like just outdoor related. Ours is very focused on mountain hunting. You want to go buy some freeze dried. You want to buy, like, Stone Glacier's got a booth. Kifaru's got a booth. Gunworks has got representation there. I'm not sure if they'll have their own booth, but Snowy Mountain Rifles, Wild TV is going to be there. Joe Appel is going to be there. So there's just all kinds of great resources for mountain hunting. If you've ever wanted, and it doesn't have to be sheep. Hey, like, you want to go chase goats, you want to go chase elk, mule deer, doesn't really matter. Pick one. This is the place for you. You're going to come and learn with the best of them. Kukuyu's going to be there. They'll have their booth, and Sitka Gear's got a booth. So just the list is long. Great people, great vibe, and for me, yeah, there's all this cool stuff, and you're going to talk sheep, and you're going to talk about where you go sheep hunting and how you do sheep hunting, and you're going to look at the latest gear. You're going to see, I know Sitka Gear is. I talked to Sitka Gear last week, and they're teeing up with Adam Foss about Adam's going to do a presentation, a seminar. He's going to be talking about the gear that he uses, and then they're going to have that gear at their booth. So you go try it out. You try it on. If you like it, you buy it. If you don't, then you go try on someone else's gear. So it just goes to show you the level that's going into the show, and it's really mountain hunting centric. Yeah, if you want to learn about fishing or fly fishing or whatever, this is probably not exactly the show you want to go to. Like, there'll be lots of people there that are interested in that sort of stuff, but we're not filled with a bunch of booths that are focused around fishing. We're talking mountain hunting. And so it's great for that. And we're trying to create this niche that's very focused on that. Like, we're focusing on the mountain hunting experience, and all our speakers, our Sheep Hunting University gear, everything points to that. And then our keynotes, Julie McQueen, Carbon TV, Queen of the Outdoors, Julie. And then we've got Mr. Glenn Landris, Chair of the Wild Sheep Foundation. So two heavy hitters for our keynotes for both nights. Seminar lineup is ridiculous, and Greg's buying alcohol for everybody.
And there's rumors of the who's who in the hunting industry that we can't mention might show up and float around too. So you're gonna want to show up.
Are you gonna tell me who that is?
Not on air.
I am joking about the booze. Greg's not going to buy everybody booze. That's not true. I'm just saying.
Yeah, just got to be careful.
But if you fly in, yeah, exactly. She's like, you're not going to that show. Anyway, that's it. Come check it out. And, we are going to be there. Greg's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Our board's going to be there. And we've got a great event planned. We can't wait to meet you there. And if you're up north and you can't make the travel down, our northern fundraiser, there's still a handful of tickets. We got the Friday night fun night sponsored by Frontiersman Gear, and they're putting on a great event. We're going to premiere our new film, Beyond Bonds. Great film, women hunt and women shaping conservation collaboration. Amazing film. We've seen it. Greg, you got to watch that in Richmond a few weeks ago. And it's just going to be a great evening there, too. You're going to be there at the Northern. I think you said you're going to be buying anyone that drives over from Alberta drinks. I think he said, I'm just kidding. He's not buying drinks there.
Oh, Alberta's a little close to the Dawson.
That's the problem, right? Yeah. It's like an hour drive. It's like we sell out tomorrow. It's like all the Grand Prairie boys and girls who are listening to the podcast, right?
Yeah. I'd be in trouble.
Goodness. Yeah. Awesome. So... best of the holidays to all of you. Thank you to our listeners for being listeners. We could not do without you. And Mountain Tough Fitness Labs, thank you for supporting the podcast. All our generous sponsors, donors, everyone. And let's listen to Mr. Fred Pringle from Big Game Records of BC. This episode is sponsored by our conservation partner, Gunworks. Thank you, Sitka Gear and Gunworks, for investing in healthy wildlife and sustainable ecosystems. So, Fred, first of all, what a pleasure to be here. You know, it was interesting. My partner, Mike Kirk, came out to have his Doll sheep scored because you're, I guess, a Boone and Crockett and a BC record book scorer. Is that correct?
Yeah, BC Records, Long Hunter, Pope and Young, the whole, and it's SCI.
Right. Awesome.
The whole sort of schmear, I guess. I score mainly SCI. I score most of Jim Shockey's stuff.
Okay.
And that's why I got into that.
Right.
It's not my preference because it's a little bit different system. I prefer the Boone and Crockett system.
Okay.
So, but he does a lot of Long Hunter stuff, and now he's doing quite a bit of Pope and Young.
Right. Right. So with that, like obviously you score Jim stuff, but will Jim bring client stuff in and that sort of stuff as well, or is that mostly Jim stuff?
Not usually, no. Just his personal
Okay.
stuff. I'm waiting to hear from him, actually. He's got a mountain caribou from this year he wants to.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and, you know, obviously he's had some family problems with losing Louise and so forth. And it's pretty tough on him. Tough on the whole family.
Yeah.
As you can expect.
Yeah. And the community too, really. There's, I'm sure you're friends with Jim and everything, and yeah.
They used to come here and summer barbecues and have a great time.
Right.
Nice lady. Class act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Fred, let's talk a little bit about, I'm sitting in your place here, and so Mike had come out here to check it out, and he said, oh, you got to go and see Fred's place. And I said, you got to talk to Fred. And he goes, you got to go see his back room. And I walked into the front room, and I just was gobsmacked. I'm like, we're doing the podcast here. And then you're like, okay, that sounds good, but you should come look at the other room just so you can see both. And when I walked into this absolute mecca for BC's wildlife, it just absolutely, this is the most inspiring place I've ever podcasted, I can say without question. And it puts Cabela's to shame in many ways. And incredible that it's all British Columbia with, I think he said there's one exception here.
Most of my stuff, other than some of my wife's, and she would be happy that I would say she's got the biggest moose in here. And she's got a Roosevelt's elk. I've never been able to draw it, so she's out of the game in that respect.
Well, that's phenomenal. So, Fred, maybe can you talk a little bit about, how did all this happen? So you've had a lifetime of hunting and scoring and everything, but how did you kind of get into the hunting game?
Nobody in my family hunted at all, and I was always interested in wildlife and wildlife management. And to be honest, I wanted to go into marine zoology.
Okay.
And took the science courses in high school for that, and got into university and figured out pretty quick that I couldn't take any of the courses I wanted to take for like 3 years. And taken a bunch of courses that I couldn't really, in reality, see me utilizing at all. So I went from that and went logging. And when I was logging, I met up with a fellow, Al Turvo, and he was a hunter. And we kind of putzed around a bit together, and I worked out in Jordan River actually for 3 years.
Okay.
And sort of didn't really hunt with Al, but he hunted, I hunted, started hunting. My first wife, she grew up in the prairies in Saskatchewan, and her dad, old Johnny, wasn't a hunter, but they weren't wealthy. They were what you call just dirt farmers, I guess. Mm-hmm. And Judy, she tells stories of deer hanging in her outside her bedroom and up her hallway, so the COs couldn't figure it out. And Johnny used to tell me that the best time to hunt deer was in a full moon in the flax fields. He's excellent meat, and he'd shoot the biggest body because of the cost of shells. Mm-hmm. So she grew up with it. So I started hunting, and first couple of blacktails. First couple of animals I shot were does. I'm happier than clams about this because we had meat.
How old would you have been then, Fred, when you started?
I was married when I was 21, so I'd be 22.
Okay. Yeah.
And Al kept bugging me to go north. He had money. He was a faller by that time in the Charlottes. And money wasn't a problem for him, but it certainly was for us. So we went up there to the Cassiar in 73 and hunted off the highway because it was a brand new highway, rougher than anything. It was like 15, 16 hours from the Kitwanga Junction to get to Dees.
It took you 15 hours.
Oh, it was brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just working on the railroad, the BC rail grade, and there was transports, and you had to cut through a bunch of logging roads, and it was just a horror show. Like 5 miles an hour stuff, and washboard and potholes and what have you. But we got 2 moose, and then went back in 74. He was in the Charlottes at the time, so him and his wife got the ferry to Rupert. We met them in up in there, and 2 campers, 2 couples, and 3 dogs, I think, went north. And anyway, he talked me into going flying in. So we went to Dees, and his wife dropped us off, and not prepared at all. Had a lousy sleeping bag. I just about froze to death. But he always wanted a big moose, and I was, by that time, really fascinated by caribou. I thought they were the coolest animal. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting a caribou, and he got a moose. So I was hooked.
So, Fred, 50 years ago, that's 50 years now, what was it like? So I know, you haven't been hunting the last few years up north, but what is it like? What is the game? What was it different from when you stopped going north to what it was 50 years ago? Was there a big difference in the amount of animals and
No, not really.
Okay.
The amount of animals, no, everything seemed to be okay. The seasons were such that wolves hadn't made a big impact on the calf population. You'd hunt caribou and you'd see calves. Moose would be having calves trailing. And when I quit, that's what I even asked today. Guys that come back with a caribou, and I go, "How many calves you see?" "Oh, we seen 2, saw 3." They're getting predated pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
And there was lots of animals around back then. Yeah, a lot more than today in caribou and moose. And
what about the quality? So you think back to your last caribou hunt versus 50 years ago,
well,
were there a lot bigger bulls back then? Or
I spent 10 years trying to figure it out, which maybe is a little slow on my part, but I had no help, nobody to turn to. It was just my hunting partner at the time. And we studied maps and talked to people and measured every caribou I could get my hands on, trying to figure out what to look for. And it took me from 74 to 1983. I shot my first BC book caribou.
Wow.
And by that time, I'd kind of figured it out. So after that, it sounds terribly arrogant to say easy, but it was a little bit easier. because you kind of pinpoint where the animals were that I wanted to hunt, and it was basically the Cassiar.
Right.
I personally like the widespread, big, fiery top type animals. I think the Spatsizi country is more towards smaller points and bunchier and maybe palmier stuff, but not as rangy as the northern Cassiar.
Right.
So that I settled in on that and drove guys nuts because all I wanted was hunt caribou.
Yeah.
So I'd say, hey, you shoot your moose, and I just want a caribou. So
Awesome.
worked out good. So
Well, and this room is indicative of a life's work of hunting caribou. You got a dozen bulls here. Which is the first, the 83 bull where you made the book with? Which one is he?
the high up in the corner over there.
Wow, the far one. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's just an absolute. What did he score?
394.
Wow. And is he
change.
the biggest one?
2.8.
Okay, is that the biggest one you shot over the years? Is there bigger since?
429. And this one behind me here, this one with all the junk on it.
Yeah.
That one is 427.
Wow.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
it says 391 here. That one's 360 something, 6. This one's 394. That one up there is 384, I think.
Wow.
And 391 over there, 360 something. That one's 379.
Have you ever taken and added all of them up? Combined score?
Nope.
What is that? Over 4,000 points, probably.
I don't know. I have never really figured out how many I've shot, to be honest with you. I think it's around 21 or 2.
Wow. That's
There's a set of big shed antlers over there too. It's the world's record shed antler match set caribou.
Is that right? What would that have scored if they? What would you guess if you had
It's 389 and something with no spread. So
Oh my goodness!
I thought it was 2 sets of antlers when I saw it on the tundra, but
Wow.
they were about 400 yards apart, I guess. Just lucky on my part finding them.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and the other animals are kind of incidental to the caribou.
Right. Right. So was it? You said so. 73 was the first year you went north. Did you hunt caribou that first year? Or? Okay. And then when was your first caribou hunt? I guess. Okay. And you were successful in that one. Okay. Yeah. So when you look at all these animals that you've taken over the years, is there one that is the most memorable, the biggest one? Is it the first book one? Is it your first animal? Or
Most memorable. I think that one there is really neat.
right?
It's not record book, but it's 365 or something. But I think it was a cool hunt. Good guy I was with, and yeah, it was a good hunt. This one, it was good because my wife was with me.
Is that right?
And she walked up to it with me, and yeah.
That's the biggest one. And that's the biggest one. The biggest one you've ever. Yeah. So, I guess that just goes to show you should take your wife with you hunting.
We had cameras, of course. It was in those days, '97. We didn't have the little digital gizmos, and so I had one picture left on my camera. So I was here, use up the film. She says, "That's good. I got a roll of 36 in mine." So click, click, click. I knew how big it was, so I got a pretty good picture with my camera. She took, and then she's clicking this, clicking that, and I got the antlers on the pack board. She click, click, click. Yeah, no, the film hadn't grabbed, so we got the one picture of it. Yeah.
Oh goodness! Yeah, and that would have been amazing photos with you on the pack
I
board.
really wanted to have them. Yeah. But hey, that's the way it is. So brought the cape out, life sized it, and Jack Gibson of Vancouver mounted it, and I got the grizzly. I wanted the grizzly pulling it down, and he said he didn't want to do that because if I ever donate it to a museum, they don't like the blood aspect. So he says, let's mount the bear like it's going to, and let people figure out their own mind what's happened 10 minutes later or 5 minutes later. So that's this one.
So on that note, I was up at Jim's museum there, and I'm pretty sure it's amazing. But I think he said that you were. So now you got this collection, your own work of art here, which, for our listeners, I wish you could see what I'm looking at right now. How many how many species or how many animals are in this room? There's got to be 100. There's, yeah, it's unbelievable. Floor to ceiling, caribou everywhere, but not just caribou, goats and sheep. So, yeah.
Yeah, 3 sheep and what is there, 2 grizzly life-sized and Wolverine.
Yeah, amazing. Birds and everything. So, but I think Jim had said that you'd planned to donate some of the stuff to the museum at some point.
Yeah, him and I have talked about it, and he said he would like to see the caribou stay as a group. Okay. And I kind of think the same.
Yeah.
This is not my comfort zone, to saying, like I told you, I did this and I did that, but apparently it's quite rare for this amount of record book animals to be taken by one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And his opinion is it is the hardest one.
Is that right? Yeah.
It's not like they're hard now, but Quebec Labrador or Central Canada Barren Ground, you'd see thousands. Right. These things you have.
Yeah, and they're as rare as they were during your time. They're even more rare now, and it's going to continue to get worse, right? So.
They don't seem to recognize how much trouble they're in.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got into hunting, I collect hunting books, but I read Jack O'Connor, like he was the big guru. Everything in this room is shot with a 130 grain.
Is that right, eh? Wow.
Yeah. Because of
a 270
that influence.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so that's just a little added note. And, so I've made arrangements for Jim to get the.
So there's that, but then there's also that front room of yours, and those are items that you've collected over the years. So how did that passion for you start, Fred? What's the story behind that?
I like wildlife. I like antlers. I think they're fascinating. I think that's why I like caribou, because it's like hunting non-typical mule deer all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're basically the same, but no two are the same. So it's a kind of a crapshoot of how pretty it's going to be and what it looks like. There's been a couple I've passed up over the years, of course, that really come back to haunt me a little bit. One especially, it wasn't even a record book head, and he had 2 shovels, and one shovel came off the middle bottom of the bez.
Oh,
and came up, and I knew it wouldn't count for anything, so I was into numbers at that time, and I let him go.
Still think about it. Still talking about it today.
Beauty. That was in 1984, somewhere back there. And another one, I like spread. That's just the way it is. And this guy was probably 20-inch inside, like quite narrow, quite high. And he had his second longest top point on the one side kind of went straight out the side and made him look like a homer. And I didn't like it. So I just passed him up. I thought, would I want him mounted in my room? And no. He'd be around that 390, low 390.
With the 20-inch spread.
So,
wow, just ridiculous amount of mass. All kinds of stuff going on there.
Yep. And then another one haunted me for years, still does. I was above him. He's bedded on a bench below me about 75 yards out with his cows and a couple of young bulls. And he was a monster. I can picture him as I talk about him. He had everything except 4 points on each side on top. And this was a couple of years after they brought in this supposedly trophy 5-point above the rear point deal. This guy had 4 points each side, and he would score. He'd score pushing on 430. No. He was a monster. And I'm looking at the spine scope, and I'm trying to figure out just finding a little bump that I could plead to the judge, like, it was a point, like, no, he was absolutely
Just wasn't there, eh?
Nope, wasn't there. So I left him bedded and retreated. And
Wow. Phenomenal. So you like the widespread, you like lots of junk. What about Bez's shovels? What do you look for there?
oh yeah, they usually go with it, but caribou are funny because you can get into a bunch of mature bulls, and one will have fantastic
Right.
tops, nothing for a shovel. The other guy has super good beds and tops, no shovel. Then you get a huge shovel, and he's got stubbies for beds. The hard part is finding it all.
Yeah.
And even these, they score good, but they haven't got it all. Like this guy here, the life size, he hasn't got a second shovel. Imagine if he did. And I've never been lucky enough to get a big, solid head with.
Right. Yeah. Well, your big guy here, he's so heavy. There's so much mass on him, eh?
Yeah, and he's so wide. I see there's one came in from a couple of years ago with a wider spread. He was number 2.
Is that right?
But for spread, But there's wide.
So this one was the one with your wife. She was on this hunt. So you guys, was it a fly-in trip or was it? Can you tell us a little bit about the trip and the hunt and what that? Yeah.
That one? We went in and flew in, got our camp organized and set up, and when the 6-hour deal was over, we got a bit of a hunt in that afternoon. And, of course, we had to wait because it's illegal to hunt within 6. Right? So I don't know what time it was. Shortly thereafter, there was a bunch of caribou on the hills above camp, so we went for a walk on that. Jumped them, and this herd went through a little draw and up on the other side. And they weren't scared at all. They all bedded down, actually. One was good enough that I thought she should take this thing. White cape and nice tops. And anyway, 3 of us are sitting there, and it's down a draw and then up the other side, and then they're kind of bedded on a bit of a hogback. And the bull's bedded. We could see the tops of his shoulders and his head and his antlers. So we're trying to figure out how far away he is. We got no rangefinder or nothing. So we come up with 350. Okay. So gun sighted in for on the money at 265, 3 inches high at 100. So I'm looking at this thing and I says, when you get a chance, when he stands up, give him a little bit of light over his shoulder. Let's see what happens. So she's all bedded in and she's got her bipod. And he stands up. He's broadside. I says, okay. Nothing behind him, nothing beside him. So she touches off a shot, hits him in the front leg, and he goes behind this stupid hogback. So I says, get over there and put him out of his misery, And so we're thinking about this, and he's way out there. We shouldn't have been shooting that far, but we did. And but in our defense, just screwed up on the estimation of the range. Yeah. So she hustled over there. We gathered up pack boards and everything else, and she put him down, and that was it. He didn't move anywhere. So.
Awesome.
But so then, 2 or 3, 4 days later, we're from camp. My partner, he went one way, and I was in camp turning Karen's Cape. And I look across and I can see this guy. He's right on the edge of the lake we landed on, which is kind of common when they get chased by wolves. Yeah. That one, the high one there. The wolves chased him right down to the lake and swam across the lake the night before when I got that one. Howling and yowling, and poor old caribou, he was bedded on this little point right on the edge of the lake, so he had to escape. But anyway, we made the circle around the lake and snuck up on this guy, and he was in a bit of a depression, and I could see the tops, I could see the beds, but I couldn't see any shovel. So yelled at him, we were 70 yards from him, shooting offhand because we're standing in the middle of a swamp, sinking in the muskegee stuff. And I could see the points are looking around. So I howled at him. Nope. Grunted like a moose. Nope. So finally, the antlers go forward, and he steps. Karen goes, "Holy crap!" I go, "Boom!" Knees down. Like could see this really nice shovel come up. So it was interesting. He was right there, like close range. One of the closer ones I shot.
So how far would have he been from camp on that one?
Oh, fair.
Okay.
Mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad. Easy.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Round the lake, so we had no boat or anything
Right.
up there. It's just a little puddle.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
Very cool.
So
You're a caribou hunter at heart, but there's grizzly bear, there's sheep. Of course, this is the Talk of Sheep podcast, so we got to touch on sheep a little bit. But yeah, you said you've gone on 3 sheep hunts and you got 3 absolutely stunning rams there. So what's the story with them?
the guy's buddy of mine that I worked with him, Frank Wolf. He taught me into going. So it was him, one of my partners at the time, and his brother. 4 of us went. We flew up. We flew out of Victoria to Watson Lake, and then floats back into BC. And I got this one on the end, 10.5-year-old, Broom back.
Heavy.
I think he scores 158.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I was pretty stoked with him. This was an opening deal because I had to get back organized to go caribou hunting. So that was the proviso that, yeah, I'll go, but we got.
So that was an August ram because he's got a pretty. It looks like it's not those heavy winter capes, but he's still got a pretty. It looks like a pretty full cape on him.
He was a big-bodied ram. He was with a full curl that came up about 2 inches above the nose, and he was a head and shoulders a better
Is that right? Eh? Yeah.
Yeah. He was half again the body size, I guess, and obviously very, very heavy. This other one was quite light.
Right.
Pretty, but
yeah.
I
Well,
liked
and this is one of the darker rams you see, right? He almost is bighorn dark. He's.
Yeah.
You look at that. Well, there's a traditional stone beside him there, but that is a dark, beautiful cape, and they're so stunning. Eh?
They all came probably within 500 yards of each other.
Is that right? Eh?
89, and I think the last one was 94.
Okay.
So in that 5-year period.
Did any of the other guys that you hunted with, did they kill rams as well on those trips?
Yeah, we got 4 for 4 on that trip, and then the next time we went, we got 3 out of 4. And
Okay.
I think the last time was the 3 out of 4
Awesome.
too.
Well, so what did these other 2 score? Because that.
160 and
Nice.
something,
Yeah.
and 161
Beautiful
and
rams.
something. Yeah, the one in the middle is it was 40 and
Wow. That's
40 and
phenomenal.
4, I think, on the long side.
Yeah, beautiful. So it's interesting that they're 500 yards apart because they're all very distinct. Like lots of rams are pretty. They you take a ram in a certain area, they all kind of look. But these are all each one's pretty unique.
It's a little different. Yeah. Yeah. The one on the far right, he's I think 38, but each. He was really pretty, but he's dark. He's quite dark. He's very similar to that first broomed off one in the neck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're all 3 are great rams for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So and the most of the bears are. I mean, this one on the wall here.
Okay.
That's the first one I shot. It was in '76. So that's one of the spots we were hunting caribou, and there was caribou there, but they weren't trophy, or they were more in that 350 bracket to 360. It seemed mature bulls, no problem there, but just weren't there. So we changed and moved our hunting
Okay.
100 some miles to the west.
So you've killed a couple of, or I think you said you killed 3 grizzly over the years. Is that correct? You got 7. Okay. So you probably every time I go north, I see grizzly bears, and maybe they're more abundant now. They are, eh? Yeah. So I was wondering, you probably could have killed one every year. You've probably seen one every year. Is that something where you just wasn't on the radar? You wanted to get your caribou, and that was the focus.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah.
I was hunting for a blonde, I think, because I really like these blonde silvertip guys, and I passed up a lot of dark, kind of silvertip, I guess you might say, because I didn't have to get a grizzly to be a successful hunt, if you know what I mean. And one in particular I passed up in the caribou country, and a week later, a group of guys on hunting moose killed him.
Oh, wow.
And he was 25 and something.
Okay.
Just a monster. But he was black, and I wasn't keen on him. So, they're kind of an incidental. Yeah, I've had lots of opportunity. I used to take a tag every year. I was the only one that did, because nobody else wanted to spend $70. And so I always had the option open. Obviously, I didn't shoot a grizzly every year. One year, let me think about this. 2001, I think, or I'd have to look it up. I should have looked it up before we sat down. It's the caribou that's out in the hallway there. Got him. I got I got the caribou and a moose that trip.
Okay.
And I didn't have a grizzly draw. I saw 27 grizzlies on the hunt. And to the point where I was getting kind of a little bit worried. I'm shooting beside them. They're trying to get the moose meat. They're hanging around camp. Like, it was just your basic horror show. So I was thinking, if I have to shoot one of these things, I'm not going to waste the hide. So I wonder, how's that going to look? I got caught with a bloody hide, and bring it back and then turn it in, I guess. But I didn't want to waste it. But now I understand there's bears being shot everywhere. And
I'm sure that's going on. So that kind of brings up kind of a conservation question, obviously the ban came in and, 20 years ago, whatever it was, and then again in 2017. Do you think they're going to have to do something about it? Because it's,
Well, they're getting killed. Yep. Well, they're getting killed. What they've done, this is my opinion. I talked to a hunter just a couple of weeks ago, and he had some interesting information from the native population at D's, the Tahltan Nation. They're guiding up there. Caribou, moose, they got $1 value. And he had a guided hunt, and he was so happy to get this thing. And he paid 23 Canadian for it, 23,000 for a caribou. And he said that particular guide is taking 4 bulls this year.
Yeah.
So there's $100,000, right? What they're doing is they've got a bounty apparently on.
I think it is. I've heard this as well. Yeah.
Public.
Yeah, I've heard that same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
$1,000 for wolves and grizzly, and he says they're shooting sows, cubs, everything they can get their hands on, because the bears are taking the calves in the spring.
Right.
And they have a value to them. Whereas when the government banned grizzly hunting, they effectively made grizzly bears worthless. Yeah. Therefore, they got nobody wants to keep them. They're just a pain in the ass. So they're getting killed. Understand they're getting killed in the Kootenays. They're getting killed everywhere. A buddy of mine who's a non-hunter, he comes out the other day to buy some eggs, and he's got pictures of these 2 bears, and they are gorgeous. Your typical blonde, chocolatey in the legs, then going to blonde, and going right up to a little bit of a dark tip on the shoulders. Looked like I'd hate to say a sow and a 3-year-old, but one was bigger than the other apparently. And I says, how much did they really bug these guys? Because they were moose hunters. They goes, well, I think the truth be known, they dumped both of them because they were terrorizing the meat and tearing things apart. And just made a new. I mean, the picture they had was probably from here to the corner of the room, like right close. So putting all this together, and what I'm hearing, there's a lot getting left. Probably more so now than when there was a season. You can't make an animal worthless. And expect.
It's the whole age-old argument for hunting in Africa, right? People don't like people harvesting these animals, but if they don't have any value, then they just get killed indiscriminately. So.
Yeah, I've talked to Jim quite a bit about it, and he says, the natives are only too happy to get the meat. So the guided hunter gets the trophy, and everybody's happy, and the money gets put back into the local economy, a lot of it, in trophy fees, and I don't know what kind of system they got there, but and that's what it's coming to. It's all coming down to dollar bills. The whole wheel turns around on dollar bills. And I hate to say it, but our government seems to be managing to zero. I mean, guys, quite a few friends of mine, they're going to Alberta hunting. They can't believe it.
Well, and I think that's the thing is there's places that manage for trophy quality, like Alberta, like with their mule deer, right? They've got, world-class mule deer. It's because they manage that way. And if you take it and you're serious about it, that's the outcome you're going to get. And if you don't treat it that way, then you're going to get the other outcome, right? So.
Yeah. I think the way it's looking with ours, they want to turn the whole thing over to the natives. And I'm not saying bad. I'm not saying good. I'm not saying anything. I'm just
they're working. They are changing the process, and now it's co-management. You're right, which is a complete change than in the past. So it is new for us, and it's going to be. But I've said it before, and I don't want to be too critical, but maybe now wildlife will actually start being looked after properly, because we could argue that there's been years that we haven't put enough resources. I can't believe that all our tag values don't go to everything goes to wildlife management. That only a portion of it goes, and then the rest goes into general coffers. So I'm hoping that changes with this. I don't know that it will, but so
should be nice. Like I told this fellow that was telling me about the tall tans there, and I said, well, what can I say? I'm on the caribou side, so they've been pounded on, they've been predated, and I personally would like to see that whole upper plateau country made into a park, I think. But there's another problem is I will never donate to parks. I think this fallow deer fiasco is just an absolute travesty.
Yeah.
What are they thinking? Millions of dollars to eradicate, or they never will, but they're trying to, by helicopter. And I knew they've been doing it in the Charlottes on blacktail. What are they thinking there? I phoned a buddy of mine when he passed away a year or so ago, but he was a retired wildlife biologist. He lived in Terrace, so I phoned Grant, and I said, what is going on up there? I said, I'm hearing that they're shooting from helicopters in the Charlottes. And he goes, what? A week later, he phones me back, and he says, yeah, they are. They brought these crews in from New Zealand. And he says, but I wouldn't worry too much. He says that his buddy was in charge of the whole fiasco. And he says their latest cost is about $10,000 for everyone killed. Charlotte's rainforest blacktail. Who thought up this idea of shooting from a helicopter? It's not like you're on that open bald-ass prairie. Anyway,
definitely.
That's my personal view on that. I've hunted fallow deer over there, and if they'd managed the thing,
absolutely,
it would be viable. And they could keep it under control, but you could argue that point forever, I guess. But I think their biggest mistake, if you want to call it that, was subdividing a lot of Sydney Island and selling it to the public. Now you got it just a complicating factor, and half of it being parks, and I
Right.
guess that's
Yeah.
what's causing all this performance. But they're wanting to kill off the blacktail as well as the fallow deer. So I guess these sharpshooters
Is that right,
aren't
eh?
sharp enough to figure out what a blacktail is. Yeah. I seen in the paper this morning that their pet wolf at Parksville is eating somebody's dog.
Okay.
That wolf
Right.
dog cross that they've been trying to catch. So I'd probably suggest they take a run over there with their gunship. And
Well, and I guess, back to the grizzly bear issue is, if there's too many, they're going to be problematic. And nobody in the urban centers in Victoria, Vancouver, cares too much because it doesn't affect them. But yeah,
nope, they got no idea. And I'm no biologist, but the way I see it, I've asked people like, why are we got grizzlies on Vancouver Island all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Well, poor guys are looking for territory. They're getting killed off on the coast because of too many bears. I mean, the best thing you can do for a bear, either grizzly or black or cougar,
right,
is shoot the big males.
right,
You'll get lots of animals. If you don't do that, those big males will be
Right.
taking the
Yeah.
kittens and the
yeah,
cubs.
no,
Oh,
for
you
sure.
know that. So people can't figure that out because
Yeah.
it goes opposite to what they really want to believe. And that is, don't hunt them. And when you don't hunt them, under proper management, you basically, doesn't matter if it's predator or prey, you end up with a false population because that's what management is called.
We got a visitor here, eh? Yeah. Yeah, he's like, why is this guy locking me out of the room?
Yeah. But yeah, that's and it took me a while to kind of come to grips with that. Now, how can you hunt an animal and produce more than if you left them alone and you produce less?
Yeah. No, it's counterintuitive, and that's where the whole hunting thing is lost on people that aren't interested enough to pay attention to it, or maybe just unwilling to learn about it, right? But it's what's SCI's slogan? Is it hunting is conservation? I think that's SCI's slogan, and yeah, it certainly is. And the problem is people, unless you do the deep dive and look at all what's involved with it, it's pretty complex, and most people don't, right? So.
Oh, very complex. And then there's so many variables that enter into it that complicate the whole thing. I mean, from an average hunter point of view, I hear it all the time. Oh, these biologists, what the hell are we paying them for? They don't know shit. But I realize they have a tough job. I also realize that they're in a position where they can't say too much, I don't think, or it impacts their job position. They're told what they're going to do, and an example would be that CO that took the two bear cubs to the rehab. He got fired for it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, he was told to kill him. I think he was a hero to the anti-hunters and the do-gooders. First blush, I thought, yeah, good for him. It's not the Cubs' fault. Yeah, I'm on the fence with it. But, I mean, everybody's up in arms about how many bears get uncontrolled kills across the province every year. That's what happens when you build houses in bear country. There's going to be conflict. Same as the people in Oak Bay that got their rose gardens, they're bitching about the deer. Oh, deer were kind of here first. It's their turf. I guess, bottom line, if you don't like it, build a fence, I suppose.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a complex issue, especially with these urban interfaces. And you see it here too, right? This probably was prime farmland years ago, right on where you're at, and it's pretty urbanized now. It's okay, Fred. So let's talk a little bit about your conservation work. So you've been involved in Big Game Records of BC for literally decades now. So how did that, obviously you've got a keen interest in wildlife, collecting wildlife, scoring, obviously that's a passion of yours. How'd you get involved with the Big Game Records of BC?
It was through my first big caribou. I found out who measured it and took it up to Nanaimo and met at Bud Smith's home on Milton Street in Nanaimo. Charlie Vesey, Byron Mason, and Joan Mason were there.
Okay.
And they were the scorers representing Boone and Crockett. And Bud was Boone and Crockett, and the rest were from the BC Records. So they measured it. So I was pretty interested in how this went about.
Okay.
And I thought, I got to learn more about this. So after that, I kind of almost immediately became friends with those guys.
Right.
And I ended up getting invited to a couple of their meetings, and it took a while, but I think I was elected as a director in 97.
Okay.
And since then, I did their newsletter. And
so 97, so you've been involved for 26 years. Wow, that's amazing. So you were elected that year as a director in 97. Okay. Yeah.
So, and I thought at the time, this is my chance to give something back maybe. Because the province was pretty good to me in hunting. And I thought I was pretty fortunate to be able to do what I did. Not because I'm any great shakes, but it's just the opportunity of our province. I mean, it was like the Serengeti of northern wildlife back then. And, I just felt fortunate to be able to do that. And then the record book, I believed in it. I still
Tell
do.
me a little bit about that, Fred. And I've got my opinions too. I am with you. I'd like to hear it from your perspective on why you think this is so important to keep these records and why we should have them.
It shows what we got or what we haven't got. And it shows the trends. And not so much an ego thing, not so much like for the longest time they tried to fight it like our banquets were honoring the animal. Well, yeah, but the hunter's there front and center, But basically, we still try to honor the animal and what's produced in British Columbia. And the hard part is the ethics of fair chase, because the goalposts keep moving. Right? You know that. I know that. With technology and all this stuff. Personally, I detest long-range shooting. It just is more or less using an animal for a target, in my opinion. I know there's guys out there that are okay with it, are totally capable of making these horribly long shots under perfect conditions. But you start putting wind in it, you start putting this in it and that in it, and different lights, and you get out those long shots, and it's broken hope. And I think the bottom line, any of these guys will tell you that probably. And what you see on these outdoor channels, that's a shot that happened to be successful. They're not going to show the ones that screw up. Like Karen's caribou. I felt horrible about that, but we just totally didn't estimate the yardage right. So she pulled off a good shot. She was right deadly on line, but it's just dropped too far, and that's just life. But to intentionally try a 600, 700, or 800 yard shot, you hear these. I've talked to guys. I finally got her on about the 12th shot. Well,
something's maybe not right there.
Yeah, like so. Anyway, that's one of my little bugs. Is
so. I got a question about that for you, Fred. So, Big Game Records of BC, you guys use the Boone and Crockett scoring system, and you guys are closely aligned with them. I know you guys put on scoring courses and stuff up here with Boone and Crockett coming up and doing the course. When you guys, when it comes to fair chase, I know Boone and Crockett's pretty vocal on fair chase, and they've got a number of standards. Do you guys kind of default to their, what they come up with, or do you kind of have a policy or standard or a way you approach that?
Well, it's so fluid. Yes and no. I mean, that's our whole mission statement is fair chase selective hunting. But then you get in, like Boone and Crockett, they've got into the adjustable scopes that you can set, and they say no. Well, we haven't gone that far yet. I scored a moose for a fellow here. I actually never gave it a thought. He shot the thing. He was telling me about the story, and it was 120 yards or something. And filled out the paperwork for Boone and Crockett, entered it. Of course, on their questionnaire is, have you got this kind of scope? And he goes, yeah. They denied entry because it was one of these setting scopes. He didn't use it for that animal. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe we should look at that. We kind of look at drones. It's a no-no. What do you do about hound hunting? You're not supposed to have your radios or collars on. Talk to a houndsman. Anybody that says they got their radios off is daft. He says nobody's going to risk losing $1,000 dog for just because of that. And so that goes against everything. And then you fill out the paperwork, and of course they're going to say no, never's off. So there's fair chase and there's selective hunting, and then it's pushing the envelope. I think fair chase is so gray. What's fair chase to one person would be just disgusting to the next, and vice versa.
Well, you talk about length of shot, right? Like for some person that shoots all day, every day, and has the best equipment, 350 is probably not a difficult shot. But for some person, they'll be lucky if they can hit, 100 something at 150 yards. So
I had a buddy of mine, that big guy, he just flinched. Like 100-yard shot was too much for him. So, I agree with you. One guy, 350, 400, piece of cake. No, I'm talking, when I say long shots, I'm talking like this 12, 14. Yeah, the animal doesn't have a clue. I had one guy, he was proud of the fact that 1,100 yards or meters. I said, Jesus, too bad you couldn't get closer. Boom. In other words, I kind of was hinting the idea that you're kind of a lousy hunter if you couldn't get closer. I mean, that's why it's called hunting and not killing, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's certainly difficult.
But the book, my biggest thing with the book is trying to keep it so it's ethical. Because some guys, not a very small percentage, thank God, they'll do anything to get their name in the book. We've had guys buying antlers and put them in there in their own name. This type of thing. Shooting, especially Roosevelts, because of the draw system, it's been forever. Guys shooting them under another permit and putting it in under their own name. I go, yeah, I wouldn't be doing that kind of thing. But all in all, I must say, I think with public awareness, it's getting better. I think. I would hope to think. We are encouraging youth. 15 years ago, we brought in a youth award at the banquet. It's been very well received. It's great to see these kids showing up. We invite them all. Any kid that enters an animal in the book in that 3-year period gets an invite, a show and tell. And the top 2 get the award. Yeah. Whereas in the other side, I call it the big boy side, it's just the number 1 and 2 get invited. So we put up a special display for the youth. And these kids are happier than clams. We had, I think we had 18 entries last period, 3-year period. and I think it was 11 came to the banquet. Yeah,
You guys were in Cranbrook last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And that was a big, was it an anniversary event or something? It was a big year.
No, it was the COVID banquet we had got canceled. So we brought those people in as well as the current banquet. So it was a double banquet. Yeah. So there was like 400 people there.
Awesome.
And
I had the new world record goat in there, that Kalewski goat there and stuff. Hey, yeah.
It almost looks, made up, but yeah, it was there. The new number 1 California Bighorn was there. Yeah, big sheep. That's that roadkill from up in towards Cache.
So do you guys do a yearly banquet, or is every 3? Okay, yeah,
every 3. Yeah. Next, we just passed, right? Last April. So the next one will be in 26, and we're not sure where yet. Our biggest problem is trying to find directors, like we talked about, and directors that are the right age and have social media skills. Because us old guys, no, we haven't. Yeah, just like lost sheep here. And we're in the middle of kind of change over to digital, I guess you might say. Up till now, we've got the original score sheet from the scores. It gets mailed in with the entry fee and goes to the records chairman, who files it physically in an envelope and, processes it all. And the monies go to the treasurer and the process moves along. But now we're getting, so our records chair is in Prince George. What do we do with the score sheets? Do we give him the mailing address? Oh, what's he going to do with the entry fees? Because the treasurer's on Vancouver Island. So we're trying to figure all this out right now. It's just exactly what we're going to do. And we're down to 8 directors, and we could have 14. But we just can't seem to recruit anybody that's...
So what kind of skills, so you said some social media training or skills, but so anyone just, I guess you kind of got to be in British Columbia if you're...
In British Columbia, preferably right now on Vancouver Island. But that said, with the way electronic communication goes, it could be anywhere, really. It'd be nice to have the key players on the island, because it's the secretary mail, for instance. The secretary gets it. Entry fees go to the treasurer. The score sheets go to the records chair. Other stuff goes to here, goes to there. If those positions were in the interior, let's say, well, now you got to be, it just becomes complicated. We have a director in Prince George and one in Cranbrook right now, and it seems to be working out pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
The whole hub of the club was in Nanaimo, but those guys are all getting older and got older and are dropping by the wayside and retiring. So now it seems that the main group is in the north, Kamloops River, Courtney country. Right. We've got 3 directors up there.
Is Charlie VC, is he on the board still? Or he's done, Yeah.
No, he stepped back.
He scored my sheep the first time I brought it up to Nanaimo and seen Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie stepped back about 3-4 years ago. He was at the banquet, actually. I made him stand up and be recognized. I got his old job of chairman, scoring chairman.
Oh, that's cool. Now, I had a question for you about the book. So, Fred, you talked about trends, and that's one of the beauty of the records. You've been involved now for what we said, how 20 plus years, 26 years. Have you yourself noticed any trends? Have you seen stuff growing, decreasing, less entries? What have you noticed?
Well, yeah, I've seen a few. The first one I've kind of recognized was stone sheep. We weren't getting entries. this is a few years ago now. We just weren't. You go newsletter, no entry for stone sheep. And the minimum was 165. So we thought, well, let's try dropping the minimum to 160. Boone and Crockett did the same thing for their awards, right? And that worked pretty good. Now we're getting entries. We're getting some big sheep. Why? How? Where are they from? I don't know. I'm hearing some stuff, but bottom line is there's some big rams coming in. I hesitate. I'm trying to think. The COVID banquet, I call it, the one we had to cancel. For 4 years in British Columbia, we did not have a typical mule deer entered.
What's up with that? That doesn't make sense.
Nope. Didn't have one entered. They just weren't being taken. Nothing. Zero. Like we're thinking, wow, we didn't give out an award. They just weren't happening. And the non-typical side, we hardly got any, and what we got were not huge. They were record book, but not that 240, 250 type thing. They were 206, 210, 211, Yeah. Now, mule deer are starting to show up again, especially this year. It's been some big.
So, is it people? Is it the you got to think the bucks were there. They just weren't getting entered, or they weren't getting taken, or it's kind of strange.
Kind of strange.
Yeah.
But 4 years. I don't know.
Be interesting.
You hear all these theories, but they're all theories. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's that 4 point up. The young bucks are getting shots, so they're not growing the big buck. Blah blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah, and it could be the truth, right? But it's interesting. Did you notice during COVID, like obviously on the mule deer side of things, you noticed a change? Did you see more entries, in that COVID era, or less? Like, where people there was less, eh?
Yeah.
I guess
I think less people out there.
The government didn't want us associating, so you're not going to take your head in to get it scored because you probably couldn't go in that year, right? Yeah. So,
I see caribou are in a real downturn right now.
Is that right? Like for entries?
We're not getting many entries.
Yeah.
Very few actually.
Is that right? Eh?
Yeah, and the government doesn't seem to recognize that they're in trouble.
Right.
I don't know how that works, that they seem to recognize it 5 or 10 years after the fact.
Right. Yeah.
Like our deer on the island. There are not many on the South Island.
Right.
And I think a lot of it is this, was that virus they were getting. You heard about that?
Yeah, I did hear about that, yeah.
Guys are coming in, especially locally, not so much this year, but last year and the year before, saying, I saw found 7 dead fawns just laying there. Well, we lost a 4 point buck here. He was out in the back in end of May last year.
Okay.
Died. One of our regular bucks around here.
Right.
But he just, not a hair out of place.
Huh.
He just laid down and died.
Yeah.
Laying out in the trees. And the funny thing is, there's not one thing that touched him.
Is that right?
No, he just lay there.
Yeah.
The rotted maggots.
Kind of says it all right there.
Yeah. The hide dried right out. And when I burned a year ago in the fall, what was left weighed about 7 or 8 pounds. I just threw it on the fire.
Is that right?
Got rid of it. But yeah, not one, no eagle, no ravens, no nothing. Yeah. So I thought, something's wrong there. That's probably that virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, So the book, the cover is fantastic, I think.
Oh, it's stunning. It's beautiful.
It's an artist from Chetwynd.
Okay.
Brogan Didier. We just, our Brian Swift, our vice president, saw it on the internet, his artwork. So it went from there. Nicest guy.
Did you guys commission him to do it, or did you see the painting instead, or the drawing and the artwork, and wanted that one specifically?
Yeah, specifically that one, because it fit so perfect. We were talking to having a caribou on there because caribou are in a bit of trouble, and we've never used one for the cover.
Right.
And he came up with this drawing, and and right away. And we asked him how much did he want to, for using it. Well, he ended up giving us permission.
Oh, wow, that's
And
awesome.
not only that, he gave me the original
Oh, wow.
because he knew it had a caribou. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's in the other room.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So now with the book itself, you publish the book every 3 years, is that correct?
6.
Oh, it's every 6 years. Okay, sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's the way we've been doing it. It was 7, 8,
Okay.
but we decided that the last 2 books or 3, we've debuted at our every other banquet,
Okay.
which works out really good.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
So, yeah.
Now, you guys have a special run of books where you have 100 of them. They're signed and
Yep.
they're numbered.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that and the significance of that.
Well, I'm a book guy. I collect books, and I talk the directors into having a signed page. We did a book. Our 5th edition was a blue colored with a bighorn on the front.
Okay.
And we numbered and signed 2,000 copies of it,
Okay.
and it sold out.
Right.
So I says, we didn't learn anything by it because we haven't been selling out.
Right.
The next 2. So this one, I pushed. Finally, we got 100.
Okay.
So 100, I numbered them, and I had to sign. Doug Jantz signed it. He was records chair.
Okay.
And it's fairly well received. I think we're just about sold out of them.
Is that
We
right?
got less than a box left, which is 8 or 9
Right.
left.
I just I received one. Mike had come and got scored. And he got one as a gift for me.
Yeah,
which is
I wasn't about to say anything for sure.
okay, which is fantastic. I just love it. And then of course this morning I bought my life membership to Big Game Records of BC. So awesome what you guys are doing and love the work and we need to keep supporting this and keep supporting the great work you guys are doing.
Our organizations are very similar, other than we have a service, which is recording and the book.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still nonprofit, and we still want to fund things for game.
Mm-hmm.
The one in front and center is a scholarship program.
Right.
You know,
So talk a little bit about that. What's involved? How does it work?
I don't know. We're kind of stumbling around right now, trying to think, how do we reach these kids?
Yeah.
And what parameters can we put on it?
Right.
I mean, you don't want to give $1,000 to some young lady that's doing philosophy or something,
Yeah.
It should be wildlife management, or preferably used in BC would be in a perfect world, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you go through the educational system. We don't know.
Right.
But I was kind of hoping that you'd have a couple ideas on that.
Well, it's interesting, the society as well. We've been talking internally too. We recognize the importance of youth, and there's people out there that have youth programs and they do a good job, but you don't want to just copy what they're doing either, right? And I think that you mentioned the 18 kids that won awards, and that's really cool that they're all invited to the banquet, and we need that. We need that next generation. And like you said, you look at your board and, it's not getting any younger, right? So how do we encourage people to be really mindful of it and be part of it too, right? So,
yeah. And be nice to encourage guys in their 30s or 40s.
Mm-hmm.
They got some streetwise, not kids.
Yeah.
But they got 30 years left
Mm-hmm.
to be able to. And I think in our case, it would. Unfortunately, we've had like Charlie VC, Byron Mason, Don Sundquist. These guys have stepped back.
Right.
Doug Jantz now, Don Doyle. They've stepped down, and unfortunately, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get them to mentor anybody because they're not involved anymore. It would be nice to bring people on. That's where I had the advantage. I hung around like a pain in the butt to these guys, I'm sure.
Right.
And I got to see how the system worked and just exactly what the mindset was. And we have guys saying, well, how much to pay? Well, sorry, but it doesn't.
Yeah, not very well.
Not very well, no. Actually, it costs you a lot of money.
Yeah.
But, I got mentored by Byron, mainly.
Right.
And feel very fortunate to be able to have done that. I feel, a little bit on scoring, I felt quite strongly that any hunting partner or like Karen, my wife, all that stuff I took to Byron to get measured.
Right.
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the proper way to do it. And I've had now I'm scoring chairman of the province. I've had a couple of, not run-ins, but I've had to talk to a couple of the scorers. They score their own kids' stuff or their wife's stuff. And I think, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. And that's the last thing I'll say. All I'm saying is it's a perceived conflict of interest. And maybe you should rethink that.
Yeah.
So, we're ironing it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, to get, I don't know what we got to do to find good directors. And I firmly believe that, hey, we'll welcome women, girls.
Yeah, we need more of that
no
for
problem
sure.
there.
Yeah.
It's not a good old boys club for sure. There's lots of women now
I've seen
that
pictures
are
from
hunting.
the banquet. There was lots of ladies at the banquet too, which was encouraging to see. And we need more of that, right? We definitely need to encourage that, and more kids and more women involved in everything we're doing, right? So.
Yeah, and these kids, I mean, it's
that's
their night to shine, and the parents are there with their chest stuck out, and little Johnny is there, and he's standing beside his whatever, hanging there, and guys taking pictures, and we gave them all I got Jim Shockey he donated caps and signed them all for the kids. We gave them all a record book and signed. All the directors signed it, and so in that respect, hopefully they'll retain that. And
I'm sure they will, and too,
that.
with kids, sometimes they go off and they're kind of trying to find their way, but. I've seen this with myself too. When I was into hunting when I was young, and it's kind of in your DNA. And then I kind of got away from it a little bit. Not that I didn't want to do it; I just didn't have as much time. But then you kind of get set up, and then you just want to get after it again.
Yeah, there's that time frame that I guess I would say 20s, early 30s, where you're dealing with a job. You're dealing with newly married, probably. You're dealing with kids. You haven't got time to dick around with this sort of stuff. Your priorities are somewhere else. And then your life kind of gets evened out, you might say. And that's what I would hope we would attract, is that guy. I find it a little bit distressing, maybe you might say it, that a lot of these people now, hunters, they can hardly wait to take pictures of a dead animal and splatter it all over media.
Yeah.
Look how good I am. And that makes me cringe because that just wasn't my style.
Yeah, there's definitely been an evolution there, and it's been, social media it's brought us together in many ways as a community, but boy, it's done a lot of bad for us too, in terms of the anti-hunter and even the non-hunter not understanding what we're doing. And I think as hunters, we've gotten a little bit better at how we tell our story, but we still got a long ways to go, I think. Yeah.
I think so. These young guys will, if they ever listen to this, they'll think, silly old fart. What's he know? But sometimes these old dudes know a bit, no more than they let on. And
that's for sure.
Yeah. And every once in a while, these words of wisdom come out, and you better listen. Yeah, because old guy's got something to say.
Awesome.
So hopefully we'll get this. This I don't know how to do this scholarship thing and how to target the right people. Do we, like you guys and us, do you give preference to life members' families, or is it strictly you open it up to, like, you phone or contact UVic and say, you got a list, you know, or if you stand back and wait for somebody to apply for it and they don't know enough to apply because we haven't advertised or put it out there, well, then it'll never happen. What's prompting us is in our, and I'm sure you guys are up against the same thing,
Right.
For lottery. You know, we got, I don't know, a couple, $3,000 in an account that the government's put the hooks on and wants us to account for it, what we spend it on. And we haven't donated anything to any bursary, but we want to, and that's earmarked for that.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of it. So, but it's just how we do it, and you know, like I say, you don't want it just to throw it away on somebody that's going to waste it. But in a perfect world, it would be some kid that's the family's not wealthy and they need a few bucks to further education in the wildlife end of things. But how you find them is another question. Yeah, it's about as elusive as trying to find a
Or a caribou.
Or a caribou, especially today. I mean, it's tough sledding. You know?
So before I let you go here, and I've taken a bunch of your time today, Fred, but I'm really curious. When you look around the room and you've got so many accomplishments, so many memories, is there one that kind of stands out as and not so much the trophy, but the hunt? Is there one where you, like if you had to say pick one that stands out hunt wise, is there one that kind of?
Not really. Like I said, that one up in this wall, or this one here, not because of the size, but just because wife was a company.
Well, to shoot him offhand at 70 yards, that's a little bit memorable but really not out of the ordinary for caribou either, too, right? Caribou, you can.
Yeah, usually you don't get that tight to them, but we did with him, and it was a classic job. They're all memorable. I don't sit in here enough. Used to come in here, light the fireplace, and sit and have a drink. And I kind of got away from it for whatever reason. You get kind of addicted to the boob tube, and I don't come in here nearly enough. But when I do, I still got my marbles, I guess, because I can still remember all the hunts.
Well, this is an impressive trophy room, to say the least. And the cool thing for me is that you go to some people's trophy room and there's all kinds of crap and amazing, but they're from all over the world. And there's, and that's cool too. Like, I love seeing that. But to come in this room and there's one mount that's not a BC species, and it's phenomenal. Like, this came off the land of British Columbia. This is what our province has produced, and it's super cool.
I kind of like that idea.
I love it. It's amazing.
Myself, yeah.
So many different species of birds and amazing.
Yeah, and obviously the raptors are all permitted, but the birds are kind of
hides
cool.
Just like these. There's just endless hides. They're just beautiful.
Yeah, everything's got its story, and like that big.
Where's that from? What's the story there? Wow.
Bull River. It came. My partner at the time, he passed away about a year ago. He lives in Sault, and he's building a garage, and he's looking across a bunch of brush and crap, and he says, this guy's got a telephone pole in his backyard, and this thing is tied to the telephone pole, just hanging there. So he says, lunchtime, I went over, banged on his door, and got talking to him, and he says, my buddy would really like that thing, or like to have a look at it, the way he put it. And he said, mind if I borrow it and show it to him? The guy says, well, why don't you just give it to him? He says, my old man shot it years ago in the Bull River. So it's beat up and
Fred,
banged
that's
up.
That's a giant. It is.
But we put it in the book.
Giant.
It's 182, I think, on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shells obviously are way back, and
Well, just the skull.
It's
just
interesting.
Its skull is so robust that you can just tell it's an old ram. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah. everything. Yeah, that's what I like about quite often when you buy stuff.
Right.
I try and get the story. And stories are neat. There's you didn't see them, but there's some sheep underneath the table, my scoring table in the other room. And one is a doll sheep. And this young fellow I got to know, he hunted a bit. And him and his wife lived in Crofton. So he phones me and he says, hey, there's a huge stone sheep hanging under the gables of this house, 1 block below us. I go, oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a monster. And I said, stone, eh? And he goes, yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. Next time I'm up, I'll go have a look. So, a few weeks later, I get the phone call. House has got a for sale sign on it. So I said, get your ass over there and see if you can buy that sheep. I didn't even know what it was. So, oh, okay. How much do you want to pay? I said, your discretion. If it's as big as you say it is. So, an hour later, I get the phone call. I'm up the ladder and I'm taking it off the house as we speak. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow.
It's a mounted head, as it turns out. Gray. Grayer than gray. Of course, it's been up there forever, underneath the gable end. And I said, take a couple of pictures before you take it down. And I took some pictures of it here. But you give it this, and it's white underneath. But we weren't sure where it came from. So it's kind of just a set of sheep horns. So then I got Mike he said, it's an older lady is selling her house. So I said, well, if you can go back before she moves and find what you can on this thing. Well, it's a funny story, but so he went back and her husband's been gone for years. And he got this thing given to him. So Mike asked, I says, find out how long the guy owned it and where it came from if you can. So he had it for donkey's years before he passed away. And he got it off the gatekeeper at Leechtown in Sioux, who had it for donkey's years. This nice phrase. And he got it off one of the old-time miners in a cabin in Leechtown because the guy had it hanging on the front of his cabin for donkey's years. So we're going back 4 donkey's years, and I think 27 years the fella died, and it's been hanging in this gable end. So we start breaking it back and going, So it turns out that the miner's cabin that had it was from Allen. So now we know, it's a doll. Okay. Because we had it we ended up putting it in the book as a stone because we didn't know. But then we changed it to a doll. And when I pulled the plaque off, the mounted head, I pulled apart. The inside, there's always an inside chunk of wood. And then the plaque goes onto that. It had a big hole in it. And the rumor was that he stored his gold in the sheep head. I got no doubt he did because the whole sheep head was hollow. Usually those old heads are full of Excelsior and plaster.
And it was full of gold.
So
allegedly. It wasn't there when you got it.
But I got the horns. And they're
that's
164 and 7/8.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah. And another one I bought at auction in Victoria. And it had been in a garage or something because it was wet and moldy and shitty. Stunk. It smelled like a wet dog kind of stink. And when I bought it, I remember it was pouring rain, and I came home and I put it in the back of the truck. I had no way it was going on the front. So I took pictures of that, pulled it apart. And when I pulled off the inner wood, it had Union Club Victoria 1910. That's right.
Wow, 1910.
They used to have a lot of stuff in display.
Wow, 110 years old. Wow.
So, So it's a nice stone. It's
man, that's phenomenal, Fred. When you think about that head. Yeah. 110 years.
Yeah,
ago.
it's history,
wow.
right?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. But that's what I like about collecting. You asked me before why.
Right.
It's the stories and the stuff that's going to be lost if somebody doesn't pick it up. A lot of that stuff just ends up in the garbage can. This would have been deteriorated for nothing. The shells would have fallen off and it would have just melted.
So then the difficult question is where does your legacy go? Where does Fred's, 70, 80, like whatever, like 110-year-old,
I know.
Where does it all go?
I hate for it to go the way of the dodo bird. I'm kind of counting on my wife. She's a few years older or younger than I am. But if we both got something happen at the same time, I don't know. I guess Jim would be able to paw through it all and take what he wanted, I guess.
Amazing.
But yeah, there's a lot of blacktails off the island in there that are in the island book. Score over 100. It's probably, I don't know how many in there, 75 or 80, I guess.
Yeah, amazing.
It's just collecting over the years. But some of these things got a really cool story. And, the one caribou in my office there, I bought it at auction. Years ago, I went down to it was Lund's auction. Somebody tipped me off there was a caribou head in there. So I go down there and I look at this thing and I go, yeah, it's big. Try and get it. Well, I'm not wealthy, especially then. So I show up at the auction and there's this little guy there and I'm doomed.
No,
Eddie
don't
Ng.
recognize the name.
I don't know if that rings a bell, but kind of a cool guy, but he and his dad was wealthy beyond means, and Eddie had no problem with money, and he collected this sort of stuff. So I knew I was pretty well done. So I just bid him up to where I didn't want to go, and he got this thing. Now this would be, I've had it 10 years now, I guess. So that would be 25 years prior to that, 30 maybe. And when I went down to Lund's to look at this thing, I'm just stupid. Didn't have the brains to talk to the fellow. I'm looking at it, and this older guy comes up. He goes, "Like caribou?" I go, "Yeah, that's a neat one. Yeah, it's mine." I go, "Really?" I said, "Why is it in here?" He says, "Well, wife and I are getting to that age. We've got to cut back, and none of the kids didn't want it. Too big, so here it is." I said, "Oh, yeah. He's young caribou?" "Yeah. Yep. He came from the Chesley." No, I'm stupid enough. I didn't talk to him hardly. And, I go, "Oh, nice head." He goes, "Yeah." Went up the Stikine. Well, he was old enough to do that. And then they packed train in from Telegraph Creek up the Chesley River. Be the backside of Level Mountain, I guess. So I'm looking at this thing. Of course, I didn't get it, so I forgot all about it. And then it was like 10 years ago, I go down to the Killshot's auction. I recognized this caribou, and I was able to buy it. It was back up in auction. Eddie Ng, in the meantime, had passed away. Yeah.
What do you think happened with all this stuff that he
chance
bought?
at it.
Like, he obviously collected a bunch of stuff over the years. Right.
Yeah, well, I got some of it, but a lot of it was just basic junk. He didn't take care of it. It was out the garage, out in the shop, and here, there, and everywhere. But I bought a moose, a non-typical moose that's in my office, because I thought the antlers were really cool. No idea where they're from, so they wouldn't go in a record book anyway. But yeah. So all I know is the guy's name. So we scored it and put it in the book under his name, Chesley River. His name was Little. Last name was Little. It's in there. 419. It's a big head.
It's funny, you start talking about, steam engine or steamer and up the river and, and then packing back or horseback. I was just thinking, back to the Chadwick days, right? It's just like there's so much legacy and history, and it's fun when you talked about the Union Club and dated back to 1910, because could you imagine going stone sheep hunting in 1910? It would be different than today.
Yeah, probably out of telegraph. Sure. I got another stone that I bought at the auction. It was John. Bevan.
He was one of the founders of Finance, wasn't he? John Bevan.
He got involved. They were loggers. They owned, in BC. Yeah, they had lots of money. They had their own beaver.
Is that right? Yeah, I recognize that name. Yeah, yeah. And so he's got stuff from the 50s.
Yeah, 53.
Wow,
it's a stone.
Right.
171, I think. The score. Yeah.
Decent ram, eh?
Yeah. It was consigned by his grandson, who none of the family wanted it.
Is that right, eh? Yeah.
And I bid against a guy that wanted it for making knife handles.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. That's the scary part, right? Yeah.
It's gone forever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But, where this stuff is going to go, I got no idea. Like, caribou shovels, I had a mind I was going to make crib boards, and I never did.
Right.
But that's kind of cool. I've shed antlers.
Very cool.
I got some tops over there, the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it's in a phenomenal room, Fred, and boy, I've sure enjoyed this. An hour and a half's flown by, and just like this. So I'm gonna have to see if I can coerce you. I know this is the first time you're doing a podcast, and I'd love to come back and chew some fat with you again. And
like I say, I can't say it enough that I'm not the guy that likes this I thing. But unfortunately, this is I'm cast into the light of having to talk about what I've done here.
Well, and you didn't do that today. You this was not about you. This was about the animal. This was about the club. No, there wasn't a lot of I in there. Talked more about your wife than you did yourself. So no, we're sure grateful, Fred, and I'm proud to be a member of, and a little embarrassed to say I didn't do it before, but so glad to be a member of Big Game Records of BC. And
glad to see that come through.
Yeah, awesome.
That's your book there. You knew that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, and
thanks for coming around.
Anytime. Let's do it again soon for sure.
Sounds good. No, I won't be scared stiff of the next podcast.